Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hi.
Bill
Hi, Bill.
Murphy.
Hi.
Hi. And Jeanette Baker-Shara is with us, and Erica Frost.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So this is it. This is your box.
This is the Ghost box, and basically it's just an electronically tuned radio. Have a voltage that tunes it up and down through the AM band,
Okay.
and the spirits use that to make their voices out of.
How did you know how to build it?
It was kind of like experience that I had, because years ago I found these car stereos. They're real sensitive, so you could use them for pick up distant stations.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd pull the modules out and then tune them with a 9-volt battery and a potentiometer or pot,
Yes.
and I could tune in distant stations. So I had experience of using that. And then when I got interested in EVP and I was looking for a new system, it's like that idea and the white noise and with the idea of using EVP maker with the random audio, it's like boom, all came together in my head into one coherent system, and this is it.
EVP Maker, isn't that software?
Yes.
How have you implemented that into this hardware?
It's just the concept of it's the random formation audio. That's how this is.
I see.
The tuning voltage on this, it just varies randomly. It gives you a random audio through the echo chamber, and that's what the spirits use to make their voices.
Now, did some of the inspiration for building it come from recording EVPs?
Yeah.
So you would record and then you'd play that back, like traditional EVP recording
Well,
playback?
No, because I started out with white noise.
Okay.
So because white noise is random sound,
Yes.
and then EVP makers random. It's random sound again, and that's why I came out with random sound on this. And now I don't think the randomness is all that important. You can do it linearly. You have a linear scan rate, and that works maybe better.
So now you just go from one end of the band to the other,
Yeah.
as opposed to jumping.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the random voltage it doesn't jump; it just kind of sweeps through, but it'll stop and go back and at various just random spots.
Oh, so the variable voltage is actually what allows for the
Yeah, that's
random tuning.
that's what's doing the tuning. Like this thing, I got this. This is what I've been experimenting with doing the manual sweep.
Yes.
Instead of having this knob here, you'd have a voltage doing it.
Okay.
Let's see. Instead of doing that manual, I just do it electronically.
Why is it? Is it for a particular purpose? A particular shape?
It's like a novelty radio.
Okay. Even though this is easy, this is still less work
Yeah.
than turning it on. Not that I'm lazy or anything.
Well, this has the advantage of having the mics built in. It's got the amplification and a place for the voices to form. It seems like you need that enclosure,
Okay.
even though you can record directly off the speaker if you want to.
Okay.
So you don't have to have the echo box. It seems to help, but I'm not sure why. Because if I'd ask questions, they'd cuss at me and stuff and call me names.
Wow.
But it turns out it's like that was kind of like training, so not to have expectations, not to ask for anybody specific, just kind of just rely on them to give me what I need, and that seems to work the best for me.
So when you say training, you felt like training for you.
Yeah, they didn't want me to like have expectations, like ask questions or anything. Just
Okay.
that's
Interesting. I
That's-
totally understand. Yeah.
Have you since started asking questions?
no, I rarely do. I just like announce I'm doing EVP recording, and then I just start recording.
Okay. So you do an announcement, which is making your intention known.
Yeah.
Then you turn it on and
Yeah.
record, and then play it back and analyze it.
Yeah. Say you're doing an EVP recording, that forms your intention.
Okay.
It like sets the stage for them or something.
So you feel that there's a link between the person and the device?
I think I'm not sure how it works, but
This is, in my opinion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it seems to be almost like real-time EVP recording.
yeah. I think the conditions are variable, but sometimes you can just turn it on. They'll just talk back and forth. You can ask questions. Sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't.
I see a lot of connectors on here, and I'm not quite sure. Like, I don't know what an enable panel mic. Could you kind of explain the box for me?
I added a mic on the last couple of systems.
Yes.
So if an operator wants to add a comment that come out on the tape, you turn this mic on, and it doesn't come out over the monitor speakers to help to prevent feedback. It just comes out through the line output.
I see. Okay.
And then there's headphones, and then I have it so you can use an external echo box.
So you could put a mic in here and put that mic in another chamber.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now we got the internal mic.
Yes.
I see, and it's got its own echo box.
Yeah.
There. Okay.
I could grab that little one. That's,
Yes, that'd be great.
well, it doesn't have the, this is what I use. This is just smaller,
Okay.
smaller than what's in here. But this, there's a speaker right in here,
Okay.
and then there's a mic that goes in here. And then the sound just kind of echoes around in here.
Oh, really?
And that's where you get most of my voices. And it's just a wooden frame. It's just 1/4 inch wood. And then the foil's just glued on with contact cement.
What's the significance of the foil?
I'm not sure, but when I use foil, I seem to get a lot of ET types.
Okay.
I used to have a website before tripod crashed it, but one of the first voices I got when I went to aluminum foil box is this echoing voices. We come from the 6th planet. And after that, I got a lot of ETs and what they call purples. And 90% of the voices I get are all these purple aliens, or purple people.
They just call themselves purple?
Well, they don't call themselves, I'm not really sure what they are. They call me they're purple.
So you're accepted by them.
Yeah.
I see that you've got like your copper pyramid there that people often use for meditation purposes up in that corner. Do you ever use that in conjunction with your box?
Sometimes. I've got a speaker mounted up there, and then I used to take the mic and just clip it onto the side,
Okay.
and then I'd record, and it like hits a different level.
Are there any other beings of any sort, or that were either once walked in the earth or otherwise that may be communicating through your box?
There's several, but it's like I get different spirits stop in.
And then some of the design changes, such as the echo box, that was as a result of using the box and the messages
Yeah.
you were receiving.
Yeah, and just experimenting with different stuff.
Can we turn this on? Do you
Yeah.
want to hear?
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Okay. This is one of the latest versions, and this one's all battery operated. You can see the charge running off.
Okay.
So
So it's portable.
yeah, this is.
You guys want to come closer and you can listen?
But yeah, there's not much volume on these because
Okay.
I kept getting voices when I first started making these. I didn't understand that they'd say leave the box open,
Oh, leave it open.
Leave it open?
and
Meaning this
I
part
never
open?
understood. Okay, give me
I thought it's a crystal specific I like.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
You heard
someone
that?
said, are these yours? Or
Crystal specific I like.
They had one I used to carry in my pocket, and they said they wanted it, so I put it on the bedroom dresser and left it there. Next day it was gone.
It's gone. Wow.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
So it,
Spirits group. You just heard that.
What is
Something about a spirits group.
Spirits group? Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
do you feel there's technology on the other side?
What?
Do you feel there's
Oh
technology?
yeah.
Body, I heard something about a body.
Because I think on the other side they're like just like we are, like physical bodies and stuff. Only they've been dead over there for like what 15 billion years or something. So they're doing stuff that to us is like magic. You can't even comprehend what they do. So I just try to provide what I can to record and let them do the work.
Here's the man.
Yeah.
Said it again.
you sound like Jeanette.
That's what it sounded like
Jeanette,
to me too.
I thought,
Oh, Jeanette.
Oh my gosh.
that's what I thought it
That's
said.
my name.
That's what I thought it said. There's Jeanette.
Oh, what a shit. That gave me chills.
Can they? I just have a question. Is it able to communicate with somebody who's passed on?
Yeah. But you get different layers. You can get different.
Layers?
But some of these, you don't know if they're like synchronistic broadcast fragments or actual voices. It's hard to tell sometimes. So you can't take like everything that comes through as a spirit voice.
Yeah,
Have you gotten to where you can kind of tell the difference?
Kind of it depends on like the context, because if you can get like something that's like synchronistic, like they'll like find a station that's saying what they want to say, then they use it. And sometimes they'll take part of a broadcast fragment, and then it'll have like a spirit voice added onto it.
Requires energy.
What a trip.
Oh my god. Before it said requires energy, it said
Yeah.
seems random, requires energy.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going on the assumption it was random, but then when we're playing with those manual tuning, you can do it with a linear signal too. But I use a triangle wave to get that linear, so it tunes up at a steady rate and then back down.
So if you're using the manual tuner, then they're working through you.
Yeah, yeah, they'd be kind of like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like automatic radio listening or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Dowsing.
Yeah, 'cause-
Now, when I look at the earlier work, like with Edison,
yeah.
when Thomas Edison was
I'm not sure if he just had like a theoretical concept or what he really did to it.
right,
Because he would have had the capability of tuning an old tube radio. He could have done the same thing,
right.
tuned back and forth. He could have recorded it on one of his early photographs.
Maybe the design wasn't complete to his satisfaction, and therefore it never released
Well,
to the
they
public.
never heard it via EVP, so they probably wouldn't have thought about trying to record it.
So something was inspiring him, something intuitively, perhaps.
Yeah,
And then the later work would have been the Spiricom.
yeah.
And have you researched the Spiricom at all? Have you
Just a little bit. Something about transmitting tones and stuff.
Yes, tones.
Yeah. But it seemed like kind of a cumbersome system.
It was, for the day, it was large, it was big.
And I've been talking to another guy on the internet, not in our group, but about, because he wanted to do something similar to Spiritcom using like FM transmitters and low power stuff.
Right.
Because nowadays you got little tiny chips and you can do it real easy. You can make little transmitters and tone generators real cheap, real easy.
And those would transmit just in its immediate range.
Yeah,
So you'd ask a question, and you'd be transmitting to yourself, and then the answers would come back right there in real
Yeah.
time. And Frank's box eliminates some of those other components that maybe were unnecessary. Maybe the transmitter
well,
doesn't make a
the
difference.
thing for the tones with Spiritcom is to give them something to make their voices out of.
Yes.
And I'm just using the radio to give them something for the raw audio. I use the term raw audio, but that came from EVP Maker. That's the term Stefan Bayern called it. The generating the random audio. It's called raw audio. It said something about the world, but, and then there's Frank's work. And then the longer this is on, it like starts getting like everything starts to work together. It like gets its second wind. You can hear it start to work better and better.
Better to leave it running.
Yeah,
So maybe on the other side, they're able to.
they might have to get stuff set up.
Yes. Yes. That's an interesting concept.
Grab onto the frequencies and so you're resonating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
And this wire here, that's just the antenna wire.
Now, does holding it make any difference?
Not really, I don't think. But they do talk about using different antennas, but I've never had much success in changing. Like those antennas with the little cross frame, that one down. I've tried that. That's the AM loop antenna. That's an antenna I've been playing with. That one's like the flat coil, and this is like a helically wound. Does that help, guys? Helping. What's that?
What did it say?
Funny, no.
That was funny.
Because I think this is just for the radio signal.
Do any of you have a question? You want to ask the Frank's box? Like,
Ask the
the
box. But it sounds like the box doesn't want us asking questions.
Sometimes it does. It just depends on when you're recording and what's coming through.
Are you using my mind at all?
There's a big
Angel
yes.
team that everyone is using?
Yeah, something like that.
Everyone is using.
See, you have to record that because then you can play back that little bit. You can see what they really said.
You will.
That's usually how I like to do it. These aren't coming through like white noise voice type voices and made out of static. They're like real-time voices.
Yeah.
Is there a message for us? What can we do to improve communication?
What about manual tuning? Does that work better? Don't leave it.
Did you say something about build or build?
Could be.
Do you just want to talk to girls right now?
Erotic.
Whoa. That was bizarre.
That was bizarre.
There's probably a, I don't know, there's probably some of that energy that they...
Yeah. Or maybe it's enjoying the females here. What's heaven like?
Could you imagine just... I'd probably get stuck here for hours.
Are there any physical or any side effects to working with this equipment?
You lose a lot of sleep. But other than that, I haven't noticed anything.
No energy exchanges or anything like that?
Not really, but I've always believed energy was infinite.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
Now, in addition to the hand tuning, is there any other future planned modifications or developments?
I'm trying to make a final production type model that I want to make a printed circuit board out of.
Yes.
That's the latest one. It's got AM, FM radio. And then I want 3 tuning modes. I want random tuning, linear tuning, and then manual tuning. Now, I've applied the same tuning technique to these little TVs I've got over there.
Yes.
Him putting on his
And I got
glasses,
one, it
he's
looks like a
focusing on
classic
tonight's
MIB,
classes.
like a man in black.
Oh, wait, that was it.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to find. There
There
it
it
is.
is. Go ahead and...
There. But it looks like an MIB, and there's all kinds
does.
of weird little images and stuff in there.
And it's like a shadow person
Yeah.
type of hat.
But that
It's a
wolf
wide brimmed
image,
hat.
that's actually, there's one of the guys in the group was
That's
looking
a
at that.
trip, how there's like an aura around it.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's an image of a saucer behind it.
Now, is that the only frame?
Yeah,
It's one frame.
that's the only picture I've got of that.
Wow. Frank, I really appreciate you, allowing us into your home like this, into your workshop, and spending all this time. Very, very interesting. Everything you're doing, Frank's box, your ITC work, it's intriguing.
Thanks.
And thank you for your time.
It's just I do it out of curiosity. That's
Wow. Okay. Well, I know you have family here, and we've been
Yeah.
taking up a lot of your time, so we'll go ahead and we'll take off. Now, you mentioned to me that there was a box.
yeah, that's that one. You could take that and try it.
That's so awesome. We're gonna be putting it to good use. I mean, we're gonna be using this thing, and we're gonna be noting and recording and journaling our results.
Okay.
And
Amazing.
yeah, I feel like I'm 12 years old at Christmas with a new bicycle.
Yeah, this is amazing.
I'm really excited to be.
Well,
bringing
it's
this
not
home.
like primo. It's not even just bare wood on the box and stuff. But
You know what? That's okay.
it's kind of like a prototype type.
Yeah,
And it's one of those hand wire boards and everything. So
that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Thank you, Frank. See you later, puppies. Bye.
Thank you, Frank.
hope the box works good for you.
Hello. Thank you for the demonstration. I appreciate it. All right. Erica, did you give me the
The box.
Let's start with this guy.
This is just the power supply. This supplies the plus and minus voltage to run this box. I've got plus and minus, it does the sweep, and then a separate supply for the audio. It kind of helps to keep the audio a little cleaner. But this one, I've got the sweep generator on a separate board. This says random and linear sweep. And then I added a tone generator, and that's to kind of make like a foundation sound. And sometimes it'll make the voices a lot clearer. And this is the main radio board. The radio chip's in the middle here, and then all the audio amplifiers and stuff right there.
Did you turn that one on?
Yes. This one I have separate, turn the sweep on, and then the audio. And that chip turned out really noisy, that's why I don't use that anymore. I can turn the tone up. That's coming from the tone generator. It's kind of annoying to listen to. And I can change the frequency on that. Probably around there is probably about the best. Oops. I like to just barely hear it. There you go. Now you can just barely hear that tone. And they'll use that to augment the voices, kind of.
Frank, could I get you to do the volume control?
Do it. That's the volume for... That controls this speaker. And I also have 2 speakers on here, so I got a volume control for each. One channel has a tone going to it. And then I've also got provisions for an operator mic. If you want to ask questions and make comments, you could do it right through this mic, and then it'll come out on the tape.
Let's go back to this. Actually, let's turn this off first. Now this guy here. Let's talk about the...
This is what I use. I used to call this an echo chamber or sound chamber. It has like a waveguide or channels, so that the sound will start up here, and this is divided in a couple of different sections. So the sound goes through here, back through here, and over. Ends on this. This is the end of the channel. That's the end of a channel. This one I have dual speakers and one mic. And this one, for some reason, they ask for crystals. And it helps their communication somehow, but I have no idea how that works. But when I have the crystals, I glue them on the box. And also, magnets seem to help. So I take these magnets from hard drives and just put them on the boxes. This one, there's a smaller one, it's got the magnet on it. And these, I enclose the speaker, it protects the speaker and it helps with the tone. And this one, I've got holes drilled in here so I can uncover the holes to change the tone of the raw audio.
Now what's this guy?
This is the number 32. Just
Hold on one second. I'm gonna try to find it. Wait, under the light. Here we go.
And this one has the tone control. And again, all that buzzing noise, that's from this area. And this one has this range and center control, so I can do manual tuning. I could find an area that's has a station. See if I can get enough sweep voltage to sweep that small area. It's supposed to just kind of sweep just a smaller area of the band. I haven't used that much, but I'm so busy building this stuff I don't have time to experiment with it. And then the rate control, and that's the speaker inside. Oops. But just one's volume controls for the raw audio, and the other one's for the monitor speaker. Got it backwards. That's the one. This controls the sound chamber speaker. And then this one. This has a large speaker in it, so I get plenty of volume. This is just a basic box also. It's has the same thing, range and center controls, so you can experiment with different tuning methods if you want. And this one I don't have the tone control. It didn't seem to need it. To adjust the rate, the sweep rate of the. This one's just kind of the basic box, but it's based on the same tuner chip they use in the car radios, the LA1135. And most of my this has direct out, that comes directly off the tuner, and the line out. Line out comes through the mic amplifiers.
Let's put that guy away. Actually, you know what? Show me, actually no, we'll wait for this one. Let's go with the Radio Shack hack.
Okay. And this is another researcher sent me this, but it's the radio, I had to go in and cut the wire on it so it'd scan. I like using AM the best to see how you can scan it manually. Find a station. But if you hold that button down, then it'll scan by itself. It sweeps the band and starts over. Is that good? What do you want me to do with it?
Oh, you can just put it down. Turn it on. Put it down for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, this guy.
This one?
This. The purples.
This is just another. It's based on a car stereo or car radio tuner. I take the AM module out of the car stereos, and I can voltage tune those, and it makes for a nice compact board. That's why I use those. But this is it's kind of a classic box. It also has a. Oops, that's right. This is the tone. You can kind of. This echo box is a little bit bigger, so it's got a deeper tone to it. Yes, you can vary the sound going out to the sound chamber just with this one. And this one doesn't have the direct, it's like, this is more of a classic version. It's just a basic box. Linear sweep is all. Just a wire antenna is all I use most of the time. Of course, take that off and it's like, drops dead. And I always record just coming out of the line output.
You want to talk about the resonator on the back of
Yeah, I'll turn this off. So. This is well, I could turn on. That's just kind of a protect the speaker, but also you can hear the tone change as I take the lid off. Maybe. You can use that just to, it helps with the tone a little bit. And then this one, uncover it, has a small quartz crystal glued onto it. And I'm not sure what that does. It seems to help. What does the crystal do, guys? I'm not sure I got an answer. Probably not, but. This is a regular ghost box, and the other ones are.
Is it the? What's that guy there?
This one's just a shortwave. I got it for free because the glass is broken on it. But I'll use that to do the foreign language method, where I just set this button near a tape deck and announce or tune in like German or Chinese. I like to talk with, but I'll just tell them I'm doing an EVP recording and start recording for a few minutes. And when I play it back, there's meaningful messages in English.
That's cool.
It's just your basic AM, FM shortwave radio. Probably don't have that on. There's a woman's site, if you go to coffeepotghost.com, a lot of her recordings on there are all this foreign language method. Just a little bit. That mostly depends on band conditions, how many short or stunt spots there is, that kind of stuff.
Okay, let's just put that down. We'll go on to.
And this is also kind of a classic box. It's got the random mode and linear. The linear takes a few minutes to start up. You can try that. I'll let it run, give it a couple of minutes, then switch it over.
So you just tap the box on top of it.
And that's just covering the speaker chamber. You can. I don't know if it makes that much. Kind of a little bit makes a difference. Let's see if this is. Okay, that's random mode. Might not have been quite ready yet, but it should start. You can hear a difference when I touch the chassis. It's acting like part of the, or the ground's acting like part of the antenna. Absolute insanity. Interesting broadcast fragment. Yeah, these are coming through random.
The Prime Minister. Different.
Okay. This one also runs direct mode. You can use it without the sound chamber. It'll record directly out from the tuner.
These are like your children.
Yeah.
All right, Ghost Man.
This is part of it's a board out of an old digital Walkman. The radio tuner part of it is voltage tunable. So I combined that with a linear sweep system. And it's kind of a mini box type system. It's just my own version. I didn't intend to put these out or anything, just wanted to test that mode myself. And that's FM. AM comes, I like better. It's noisier, but you get better, more consistent voices through it, I think. And the lights are just for looks. I just heard of that purple something. They call me Purple for some reason. Purple Princess. I said I don't even need to ask them anything. They just pretty much start talking. Anytime the equipment's on, they'll talk.
Cool.
And then
Move on to this little guy here.
this is just a cheap radio I bought at the thrift store for a couple bucks. And I glued an extra knob on here. This makes it so I could tune it easily. And this is for a system called manual sweep method. And you just set this up close to a tape deck and just announce you're doing EVP recording. If I can get it to work. And then you just tune it across the band. That's just. But you just tune it across while you're recording, and then when you play the tape back, there's meaningful messages in it. Not just random words. It's actually it's like different voices forming one sentence. This one doesn't receive. It's just a real cheap thing. So maybe FM will work. Yeah, getting better on. But when you sweep it across the band, it kind of sounds like a regular Frank's box, and that's exactly how it's working. And I'll record with that sometimes. It just depends on what whim or whatever whim hits. I'll grab that or the Ghost Man or whatever.
We talked about the tape deck, but
I haven't done Robo Man yet.
Oh, let's do Robo.
Okay, this is based on this chip. It's called a SpeakJet. It has the sounds of human speech. They're called allophones programmed into it, along with various other sound effects such as robots and stuff like that, radar sound. But I'm taking that, I use my same circuit I use for the random sweep generator, and I've adapted that to put out random pulses, and that's what makes the chip speak. And it takes about 30 seconds for the random pulses to start coming on and start accessing it. This is kind of an antenna. It helps with the reset. If it gets hung up, you can touch that. And when it says ready, every time it's doing that, it's getting a reset. Or something's telling it to reset.
Ready.
And then you'll hear the sound start.
Ready.
It'll just start making all kinds of robot sounds. But next to that, there's some meaningful speech. Okay, now it's starting.
Ready.
That sounds like 2 to 12. Yahweh? A-L-I. I wonder if that's Allie?
Ready.
What about the loose tape here? So if you could just turn that on.
Okay. Hi, I'm Frank. I make this kind of weird box. It's basically just a swept radio. The system sweeps across the radio band, and that gives the spirits and entities something to, like bits of speech and music and stuff. They make voices out of it, and it allows them. You can hear them talking. You can hear it. You can tell it's not just radio fragments, but they'll address you by name. Sometimes they'll swear at you and stuff like that. But sometimes they'll do two-way communication. But for the most part, I like to record and then listen to it off the tape. And I've been doing this since I started getting in EVP in 2000. And then after using the white noise for a while, I started hurting my ears to listen to. So I looked for other systems. So I found EVP Maker, which runs on the computer. It's a program, does the same thing, provides the raw audio by taking normal human speech and chopping it up, and then playing it back, and the spirits, they actually form their voices inside the computer, and it talks to you back through the computer speakers while it records. But I was getting messages that say, well, some spirit said such and such, and they're relaying messages. And I was wondering, well, what else can I use to get the voices, the ones that can't use the computer? And this idea just kind of popped into my head. It's based on other stuff I've been working with, but it's like all together at one system. So I made it, it worked. And I haven't been able to really improve it, even though I try to. But that's about the basics of it. There's not too much to it. It just supplies the raw audio and lets them talk. The first one I tried, this is the first one with linear sweep, where before I was using random, where the voltage would jump all over the place to catch different voices. And this is linear, just scans up and down the band in a nice smooth manner. And the ghosts seem to be able to track that easier and have an easier time making voices with it, I think. I like the way it works. This is that first system. It's kind of designed to make changes and add boards to and stuff as needed. And then I was making them like this. This is the next one, right? That's like number 24. This is 25. And it's made in that little wooden box. Same type of system. And then these I made later. This is all since December. And trying to make them more like in modern cases and smaller. And try to get it more reliable. Actually, the Robo Box is the latest one. I'm kind of experimenting the same way Bill Chappelle is with the computerized digital type systems. I use a separate tape deck to record. I did a real short one upstairs. Might not be able to hear it, but let's see. Looks like a lot of people. If you can hear that. And then before that, if I could find it, there's one that says, my dad did this. And I do have a son on the other side, and he does talk to me sometimes. Not sure it does. These people have separate needs. But my father did this. Yeah. Yeah. And that almost has to be, that's the only thing that makes sense if my son was coming through. So I get that a lot where he says, I'm helping my dad. And I was having trouble a couple of months ago. I was getting frustrated, and I get this voice comes through, Dad, can I help you? So he's like right there helping me with the system. Yeah.
I retired in 2000, and I got into this in 2003. My wife just told me I needed to go do something. So it was kind of a fun event for me. My first time around, I went out to a very large convention in Las Vegas, and you got to understand, my background is an electrical engineer, and so it was very fun. I was around psychics and mediums and a lot of ghost hunters, and it was a fun time for me. It was very much an immersion process. And while I was there, I got kind of tickled. Now, I'm not knocking them, but I want you to understand, come from my background. A lot of people were running around dowsing rods. I'm watching this, and some people had the ones that had the enclosed, capsulated dowsing rods. Some had just the open dowsing rods you hold directly onto them. And I'm thinking to myself, why hasn't somebody made an electronic version of that? And that's how I got started into my trip into the paranormal world. Is I started by actually making something that would mimic a set of dowsing rods. So I made a little electronic device that you can turn on. Basically, the lights go to the right or the left depending on what the power is on each antenna. And the idea is if they're both the same, it lights up in the center. So it was just my first attempt at making an electronic dowsing rod. It was kind of fun, but I got more curious about the paranormal. And then I decided to think, well, what I wanted to do was start capturing more data. I was watching taps on television and watching people. I'm thinking, I'm watching everybody in the dark, and they're doing one of these things. They're looking at something, they're holding the flashlight on it, and they're trying to write it down. I'm thinking there's got to be a better way to do this. So I designed, for the first time I did it, I designed an item I call a science station. And this plugs into the PC, and it captures RF frequency on 2 antennas simultaneously. So I can tell the amplitude that hits the antenna. I can actually tell the frequency of it. And I can also calculate the voltage that hits it. So I can give you a real detailed, accurate idea of what the EMF looks like in a room. Plus I have temperature, and I have IR and ambient light at the same point in time. And my idea was I wanted to start correlating data. Now you need to understand, I hadn't got into ITC at this point in time. And my whole premise was not so much what was going on, and it was not the message, what people were receiving. I was more intrigued by exactly how it was happening. So my whole premise has always been, how do I get more data, more information, more accurately, so that I can actually know exactly what I'm doing. I want to be able to, one of these days, be able to say, I know how that happens. Because if we can ever crack that, we can make everything happen. So that's kind of where my research goes. From there, I went to a little bit different device that plugs into the PC. Now, I was contacted by somebody I'm not going to mention. They were looking for a different version of Frank's box. Now, I'd never seen Frank's box at the time. And talking about that, it occurred to me really quickly that I had all the components to create speech. Now, I took a whole different route. I don't use a voice generator of any kind to create the speech. I use the original used a computer program. And what we did is we took the environmental energy and we correlated that to a dictionary within the computer. So we didn't manipulate it in any way, shape, or form. We let, if the voltage hit it and said the voltage level equated out to a level of 516, we matched it with a word in the dictionary, and that's how we let the unit speak. And that's where I started with the ITC things. The very first time I tested this device, I was still finishing up the code. I flew out to meet a friend of mine in Lexington, Kentucky. We drove down to Waverly, down to Louisville, I'm sorry, and went to the Waverly Sanatorium. And I'm sitting there in a ghost hunting class, and I'm sitting in the back of the room on the floor in a big room like this, and I'm actually finishing up the code. When I'm running the device, I keep getting the word water, and it says water, 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 just over and over again. Now, it's a computer-generated program, and it got caught in a loop. So I thought, well, I've got something wrong in my code. I've got to fix this, and couldn't find it. So I finally just rewrote the whole piece of code. I fired it up, and it goes, Lake, water, Friday night, you die. Now, what's interesting about my unit is not only does it talk it, it types it on the screen at the same time. So there's no doubt in my mind what it said. It was exactly what it said. And that was my first change of heart about what's really going on with ITC. Because up until that point in time, I pretty much thought it was a joke. In fact, we were drinking some beer, cutting up in the hotel room the night before, and just having a good old time with this thing. And it really changed my whole perspective on this. From that point, I wanted to do more. So I made my first generation handheld unit. And this works just like a computer program. It has a computer chip in it, it has a voice generator, it has a dictionary. And you turn it on and you walk around, and it has 2 sets of antenna channels, and that's how we gather the environmental energy, and that's how we create the speech. It just creates an energy level. We pick a word in the dictionary, and then we say that word. A lot of people have used this device. Some people have got some really creepy things with it. The thing I'll say right up front with my devices, it's not an instant thing. You don't just turn it on and you instantly get communications. I would say maybe about 20% of the time do I get something that I absolutely would say, yeah, this is a hit. And I bring people up and they can see it. We can put the computer into a mode where we do question and answer. And sometimes I've asked, are you there, or is there someone there? Just the other day I did one with some friends of mine, and I said, is there anybody here? and it comes back and it says friend. And I was in one of those weird moods, so I typed in, I can always use a good friend, what's your name? And it said Charles. So I'm like, okay, I think I've had enough for today. So it's been like that. It's been a funny ride with these. My whole premise is data. You have to understand everything I do is data collection. I want to know more about the environment we're playing in. Because truthfully, if we're ever going to crack this thing, we need to understand. If we can find 1% of the time where everything happens, we can really open the whole ITC realm up. So anyway, that was my first handheld. I went on and actually I've got a commercial version really come out. It's called the Paranormal Puck. What this device does is it does the ITC type communications. I actually more refer to it as environmental communications. It also does EMF, temperature. It gives you the voltage and frequency. And I'll show you on the screen. I've got an online oscilloscope so you can see what the waveforms look like. You can see the voltage hitting the unit. And it data logs everything simultaneously. So this thing takes a shot like once every second. So 2-hour period, you'll have about 250,000 data points to look at. So like I say, I'm really all about the data. It also has, it's got a standard USB connection. It's got an expansion port so that I can plug in other devices. I've got another device I'm working on currently. They'll give you atmospheric pressure and humidity at the same time. And like I say, everything's streamed to your PC. The software also attaches, you can use any USB camera on it, and we can link alarm functions to the camera. So if you get an EMF spike, the camera will start taking pictures or stream video. And then if everything goes back to a normal level, everything shuts off. So we're not sitting here running hours and hours of tape for everybody. That's, beyond that, the other addition I've got is, this is a handheld version, my newest version. This thing basically will fit in your shirt pocket. You can wear a set of headphones with it. It does the ITC modes. It also does EMF. It also does temperature. It will also work with the expansion port for humidity and barometric pressure. And it'll drop in your shirt pocket. And you don't have to look at anything, because if you have it in the EMF mode, it'll talk, and it'll just tell you what the EMF levels are. You can hook it up through the puck and set your levels on the screen. So you want to set your alarms. It has a 2 megabyte flash in it, so it data logs everything that's done. And then that way you can go back and do your investigation walkthrough. You can plug it into your computer, and you can see the time and everything that happened, data stamped and chronological on the screen. So that's the kind of devices I do. These use speech generation chips that use phonemes. And like Frank was showing, I've also done one like that, and I'm just going to play a clip real fast if I can get my PC up. That's using just phoneme generation. And what you're going to hear is actually this little device here. And this is what's known as a SpeakJet chip. It's just a text, it's just a phoneme generator. In other words, you send it a serial command in what phoneme you want. You connect the phonemes in the way you want to make speech, and then it creates speech. So what I did is I created a random generator that takes the same principle as this. I just take an environmental reading, in other words, what the ambient voltage is or ion count in the room, and then I take that, I convert it to a serial value, and I send it right to the chip. And we get some interesting responses. This is, if it will play, this is one I did probably the second night I was playing with this, and it was just kind of amusing to me. Now, my name is Billy, B-I-L-L-Y. It's not William, it is Billy. And I don't go by Billy. I have like 3 people on the planet I let call me that. My mother, you know. Let's see if this will play.
Can you say my name? No, not Billy.
Okay. But that's what a phonetic generator sounds like. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about, real quick, about what I like about phonetic generators and what I don't like about phonetic generators. It's really an interesting way to do things. The Ovilus handheld and the original handheld mix phonetics and dictionary speech together to create words that aren't in the dictionaries. It's interesting. Is it 100% accurate? I wouldn't go there. Phonemes, there's 71 phonemes in the English language. I think there's something on the lines of 26,000 words that can be formed by 2 phonemes. So when you're playing with this type of thing, you really have to be careful. You really have to think about what you're getting, because I'm afraid that a lot of people are going to go down a road they shouldn't. It's very interesting, it's exciting, but is it actually real? I'm not going to say one way or the other. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. What I do know with the dowsing system is that I have gotten several hits that are statistically beyond what I would call random chance. I'll give you an example. The first time we were using this device, we actually had it on a laptop, and I was in my buddy's car, and we're driving back to Lexington. And I got the idea, I thought, well, I got a USB cable, I got the laptop sitting on my, on my lap, so I rolled the window down and set it up on the roof of the car. And I said, now you need to drive slow. Right after I said that, the device says, slowly drive. Now, that's a pairing, and it's so odd that it almost defies chance. We went down the street about 45 miles an hour. Well, USB cables don't fit that tight, and it blew off and bounced down the highway. Picked it up, plugged it back in, and away it went. Basically, all we're doing is just reading the differential potential on the two antennas in this device. And by doing that, we just calculate whether it's greater potential to the right or left, and that's how it's displayed. It was just an idea to give you an electrical representation of what I saw with people using conventional dowsing rods. That's the science station. The idea behind that was to give me more data information. And it does temperature logging, it does RF and EMF data. It also does IR and ambient light sensitivity at the same time. This is the first ITC handheld that they had. This device was designed basically so you get away from the computer and walk around for investigations. It was more of a play toy at the time I started working on it than anything else. I should come up here in just a second.
Experimental unit test version 001. Music. Flash.
This is a prototype right now. It's not the completed unit. I'm still waiting for the circuit board to come back. And basically it's going to have a 2-button operation. You'll be an on-off switch, and it has a mode switch. Now I can trigger this on, and it'll come on for us.
Say hello to Avalis. Built for paranormal research, for ECM modes, talking EMF, dowsing rod mode, alarms, and data functions. SSSSSSSS. What? Cross.
Okay, now this one only has a 125-word dictionary in it. The finished unit will have a 2,000-word dictionary, plus it has a mixed mode, so it can mix phonemes in the dictionary simultaneously. And that's a fun thing to play with. It's really interesting. And this is the final version of the original digital dowsing system. I call it the Paranormal Puck. It's a standard USB connection for your PC, and this uses the human interface device, so it doesn't require a driver. You just plug it in, it finds itself automatically.
Cool.
And then it also features an expansion port, so that if you want to add extra sensors to it or go puck to puck from two different machines or two rooms, they can exchange data back and forth. First features on top that you have the ECM control, and what this does, it allows you to pick the way we're going to actually create speech with this device. We can do it in 3 different modes. We can do it in voltage only, where the voltage that strikes the antenna is actually what creates the speech. We can do it in frequency mode, and that's where the frequency that's hit is used to create the speech. And then we have a combination mode, which is voltage and frequency together. The next feature we have is an RF rejection, and this allows us to take things like common interference like 60 hertz and 30 hertz and matched frequencies from like 900 megahertz phones and stuff, and mask those energy levels out so they don't interfere with the device. Speech functions is designed so you can run the unit with the speech on or off, and it also has a phonetic mode. So not only can it say any word out of the 2,000-word dictionary, it also has a phonetic generator, and it's capable of creating virtually any word in the English language. It also has a PC interface to allow you to data log and capture video and time sync with logs in the unit. We can actually sync these up with events, so if we see an EMF spike or a temperature drop, we can turn on the recorder and turn on the camera simultaneously, so we don't have to waste and burn a lot of film audio time doing those type of things. We've got alarm functions for the unit, and this allows us to set an alarm based on voltage or frequency or threshold. We can also look at the EMF frequencies in the natural band, and then also EMF in the electromagnetic spectrum. The same we can do with temperature, so if the temperature drops or increases by a certain set amount or percentage, you can trigger an event or trigger an alarm. Everything the system does is timestamped and data logged, and we create a CSV file that can be used by any spreadsheet so that you can take your data when you're done, and then you can go through and crunch the numbers any way you want. But on every log, you have every feature simultaneously. So for every log entry, you'll have temperature, you have voltage for both channels, you have frequency for both channels, you have EMF in the natural band and in the electromagnetic spectrum. We also have a threshold calculation that tells us what the trend is. In other words, if the values you're seeing in this log greater than or less than the previous log. Not only do we log the data we capture, we can also log the data we don't capture. In other words, anything that's rejected by RF, we can look at those too. The oscilloscope that's on this device is designed so the user can actually see an active waveform. And I think a lot of people have never really seen what EMF looks like. A lot of it's designed so they can get an idea of what a common wave looks like. You can see what a spike looks like. You can start seeing recurring trends. So if somebody sees something that hits, and commonly they'll see it and they'll see an EMF spike and they'll think they've seen something, and they're just seeing something that's recurring in the environment. And this is a little bit better visual way to do it. We've got the ability to slow the waveforms down so they can spread them out if it's a complex waveform, and they can actually take a look at it to see what the waveform's comprised of and how many steps it goes up or down in the cycle. We have right now currently 4 external devices that are supported on the puck. The Ovilus, the second generation after the Ovilus handheld, are both designed so they can plug into it. We can take data out of those and upload it into the puck's data simultaneously. We can also set the alarm features for these units through the puck on the screen. I have an IR illuminator, and then we also have a mode that we can run puck to puck so that we can download from a different computer and put everything in one log file. And it's got a training mode that goes through, and actually it's training for the environment. It goes through and sets up ambient levels. It looks at how the EMF is tracking. It sets the threshold up so the user doesn't have to adjust anything for the unit. And then we have your standard help files. It goes in and lets you know how to run the software, how to set things up, what all the functions do, and what the controls are.
By sweeping across the AM band linearly, we are grabbing raw audio fragments to communicate with spirits or ethereals. It takes about, a session would last about 40 seconds, and generally in about 40 seconds we're going to have about 20 seconds to 15 seconds of fragments that we can then try to extract information from. This is a standard radio that's been modified, and by sweeping across the AM band, we often are able to get spirit communication coming through this modified radio.
Are you over 10 years of age? Yes. Was that a yes? Are you over 10 years of age? No. Are you 6 years of age? Yes. 6-year-old female spirit.
We know her.
April or
Her name's
Jill.
April.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, April.
Is your name April? Yes.
God. Hi, April.
April? April, are you trapped here at the Stanley Hotel? No? Are you a free spirit? Are you free to go, to come and go as you please? Okay. Well, there's no one to send over to the other side then, is there, April? Oh, there is, but we don't need to send you over, correct? You've already crossed. April, have you already crossed over? Yes. Okay, good.
Patrick,
April, do you come back here? Yes.
can I ask a question?
Yeah. One moment, I have one more question I wanted to ask. April, do you come to the Stanley Hotel to take care of the spirits that are trapped here? I don't think she understands the question. April, do you come here to console and comfort the spirits that are at the Stanley? They are. Okay, you do. Thank you. Okay.
Flash.
Your question?
April, were you in here with us last night?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Crystal?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like her to come back tonight?
Yes.
Would you like to come back after 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
Is anybody else here with you? What was the boy's name?
Tommy?
April, do you remember? Is Tommy going to be with you tonight?
No. Yeah.
So,
April, will Tommy be with you tonight? Yes?
will it just be you two?
Yes?
Okay. Do you feel safe with us?
Yes.
Good.
What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Tony Calagero, and this is my wife Danielle, and we're from Long Island.
Long Island. Okay, now, is this your first event?
Yes. Yep, this is our first event. Yes.
And what brings you here?
Well, we had seen the show Ghost Hunters and became quite interested from that show, and we just thought it was a beautiful place and a beautiful location, and the amount of activity here is just tremendous. So we were just really excited to meet people and be part of this experience.
My name is Julia Weingardner, and I'm from Vancouver, Washington. I love Stephen King, and I wanted to experience the Stanley Hotel for myself.
And are you a paranormal group?
No.
Just friends?
Just friends.
What brings you to the Stanley?
We were fans of the Ghost Hunter show, and we just wanted to come and do a ghost hunt ourselves. We thought it was
Will
fun.
this be your first ghost hunt ever?
It's our first ghost hunt.
Ooh, and are you scared? No. A little bit? Have any of you seen any ghosts before?
Not seen any, but had a few weird experiences at college. But
And do you think the Stanley's haunted?
There are enough stories, so we we're hoping it's haunted.
Anybody staying in a haunted room?
No.
Not that we know of.
Not that we know of.
My name is Miranda Whitesides, and I am from Denver, Colorado. My name is Holly Whitesides, and I'm from Denver, Colorado.
Now, have you been to the Stanley Hotel before, stayed here?
I have not been here at all.
Oh, really?
I have been here.
And did you have any experiences when you stayed here?
Actually, I came here in October with the paranormal retreat, and I did have 2 EVPs that I did record. Otherwise, I did not have any real big personal experiences, which I'm hoping to get this time.
So, what did the EVPs say?
Well, one was in our room, and it was this really kind of demonic giggle, which was not something that I really appreciated. I was like, that's weird. I listened to it the next morning because we recorded it at night, and yeah, it really freaked me out.
And what room were you staying in? Do you remember?
We were in 403.
Okay, good. I'm not in that room. Okay.
Yeah, we were right next to 401. Okay. So we were hoping, and we did catch something. It was really, really bizarre. The other EVP I caught in 1302 over at the Manor House, and I had asked if there was anybody that wanted to show themselves, and I got a very harsh whisper that said, I can't.
I'm Bonnie Pridgeon, and I'm from Richmond, Virginia.
And what's your name?
Sandy Calaora, Richmond, Virginia.
Okay. Now, what brings you to the Stanley Hotel?
The excitement. She invited me.
How did you hear about the event? Do you listen to Darkness, or do you watch Taps?
I was searching the web for some things and just happened to come across it.
Really?
And about the Queen Mary, and then I saw this one coming up, so it's like, we've got to do this.
Yeah. Did you go to the Queen Mary event?
No, but it was too late. Yeah, it was too late for that.
So, do you do any paranormal investigating at home?
Yes, we do.
You do? So you're investigators?
Yes, we are.
And are you in a group together?
Yes.
Now, are you sensitive?
Yes. Yeah.
And do you sense anything in this hotel?
Yeah. Oh,
really? And you both do? Have you had any experiences that you walked in?
Here already?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have in this room already, and upstairs, and on the hallways.
Okay, tell us what happened in here.
I can feel them walking up to me, and they want to speak through me.
My name is Kim Kirk. I'm Tana Kirk. I'm from Rock Springs, Wyoming.
Yes. Okay. Now, what brings you to Stanley?
I was hoping for a bonding experience, mother-daughter bonding. I just want to see her scream.
You just want to what? See her scream? Do you have any paranormal affiliations at home?
Yeah, a little bit.
Are you with a group or what?
No, we're not, actually.
We've had experiences.
Yes. We're a little sensitive.
Are you?
Yeah.
And have you sensed anything in the hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah, what? What? Yeah, tell us.
I don't know. Was I talking about the keyhole?
Yeah.
We heard noises coming out of a room, and so we were walking over there, and it sounded like someone was walking. And so I went and I was looking in the keyhole and I had my eye against the keyhole and it was nothing but blue, and then all of a sudden it gets black and white really fast. I screamed and like did the crab walk backwards and ran down the hall.
Yeah. So you looked at the keyhole and you saw something blue.
It was like blue like the sky, and then all of a sudden it got black and white like 5 seconds in. As soon as I got closer to the hole and was looking in really close, and all of a sudden it got black and white, and I just screamed.
And so there was no one in that room?
No, well, we don't know that.
It was locked,
and it wasn't like somebody's room.
Oh.
But I knew that it really did scare her because she was shaking like a leaf and she was trying to hyperventilate and made me laugh, but she was serious.
Well, so you want to see some more ghosts, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Pretty excited.
Thanks for talking to us.
And we love Jason and Grant, and we also do a lot with the paranormal. We do ghost hunting ourselves. We have our own site that's under construction called RIP, Researchers Investigated the Paranormal. And I guess I just have a long family line of family witches and psychics and clairvoyants, and I just love it. And I just know that there's more out there, and that's why I'm here.
Wow. Now, do you think the Stanley is haunted?
Absolutely. Definitely. From the minute I have walked in, being a medium, there's a lot of stories that I can share and tell with you. I get a lot of imagery just by standing there against the wall. I can picture a man with a top hat just like tipping it and saying good day.
In actual hat or in your...
Yeah, psychically. And then when I was in the dining room, it's like the whole dining room changed. It was all old-fashioned, like 40s dresses, and it had the round tables and the old-fashioned butlers going back and forth, and I would say it would be more of a high-fashion clientele that they had.
Wow. And do you, so when you say you see this, do you actually see it, or is it in your mind's eye?
I actually see it.
Like visual. So you're psychic.
Absolutely.
You know, it might just be our imagination, but, you know, due to the mystique and the echelons of the hotel and everything, we might think there's something more to it than just, you know, our imaginations.
We keep waking up at 12:30 for some reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that particular time. And 2 other people I've talked to from Connecticut, it might be jet lag or whatever, but they've actually woken up at 12:30 themselves.
On the dot?
On the dot.
Wow.
Which is kind of eerie.
I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I'm Jessica, and I'm from Asbury Park, New Jersey.
And I'm Michelle. I'm from Idledale, Colorado.
Now, did you just meet here?
Yes, we know each other.
We know each other. We met Ruth tonight.
Yes.
Yes, and we're longtime best friends. Absolutely.
So you totally bonded?
We totally bonded.
Totally BFF.
Yeah, we're BFF.
Okay, so now what brought you to the Stanley in the first place?
I think it was driving through Estes Park. I think the first time I came through was with her. She came from Jersey, and we wanted to see wildlife, and we ended up at the Stanley Hotel.
Yes, and I personally have had like ghostly phenomenon for most of my life, ever since I was a baby. So of course I was like, Stanley Hotel, we have to go there, let's go. And we were there, you know, a few months ago, and then we found out about this gathering, and it was like, this was a thing that could bring the girls together. And we found our third girl for the weekend.
And I came here, I've always been fascinated with the Stanley Hotel because of The Shining.
Yeah.
So when I found an opportunity to come out here and meet everybody else, I just jumped at the chance.
I'm Celeste. This is Andy and Brandon.
And is this your first time at the Stanley?
Yes, this is our first time. We're very excited.
Where are you from?
Connecticut.
Connecticut?
Yeah.
What brings you to the Stanley?
We came because of its history of actually the surrounding area in Denver and everything. And also because Jason and Grant were going to be here. And Brandon is a huge fan of their show.
So Brandon, you like their show?
Yes.
Yeah, who's your favorite, Jason or Grant?
Both.
And are you hoping to see a ghost?
Brandon, do you want to see a ghost?
I hope so.
I hope so.
All right, cool. Thank you.
I hope
You're
Mommy
welcome.
brings back evidence.
He wants Mommy to bring back evidence.
My name is Diana Avena, and I'm from Roswell, Georgia.
My name is Joe Avena, and I'm from Roswell, Georgia.
We've been good friends with Dave Schrader for a good while. He interviewed me, I think this past June now, regarding the Roswell Ghost Tour that we run there. And we've just maintained a good friendship with him. And, of course, we've been talking about how we need to make one of his trips. And this is actually the first official trip we've made of Darkness Radios.
My name is Hazel
Chow, and I'm from Michigan.
And what's your name?
Angela King. I'm from Michigan.
Michigan. Okay, what brings you to Stanley?
Grant and Jason.
Okay, so because you're fans or you know them?
Yes, no, we're fans. Mostly also I'm fans of Stephen King, so I read the book The Shining right before I came here again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, that's a scary book, I know. Are you creeped out now?
A little bit, but there's no like little kid scene where like the kid goblin comes from the old tunnel of concrete, so I'm okay.
Okay. Well, it was on TV today too, The Shining.
Yeah, I saw the movie as well before I came here, and it was like freaky.
My name is April. I'm from Rancho Cucamonga.
I'm Renee, and I'm from Ontario, California.
I'm Reagan from Ontario, California.
Okay, and what brings you to the Stanley?
Actually, we were at a previous event at the Queen Mary with Darkness Radio, and we met Dave, and we had a lot of fun, and he rocked out the whole trip, so we decided to come to Colorado and come to the Stanley Hotel and see what's going on. We like Dave and we like Tim because they're hilarious and they make us laugh, and they're down to earth, and we love coming to their events because they're well done, they're well organized, and we have a lot of fun.
Hey.
New Orleans is so steeped in lore and legend.
Is there anybody here?
Seeing a ghost. They just would call my name. Have you ever seen a ghost and not be frightened?
Well, we really don't know who it is supposed to be.
Spirit energy is what I believe it is.
Whatever it was, show us a sign that you're here.
Their soul stayed trapped, and there's nowhere for it to go.
They talk to me every day.
The whole history of the hauntings and the ghost lore, I think is a part of New Orleans as much, if not more, than any city in the world.
It's been called one of the most haunted places on Earth. An ocean liner with a long history of ghost activity. We went in with some basic instruments. What we found went beyond science. What we found you have to experience. The Queen Mary's past is still here today. The experience is real.
This has got to be one of the most intense places I've ever been in my life. You know, when I walked in the hotel, it was like an energy field, like kind of hit me when I came through the door.
The EMF reading was going off the charts.
Wow. I think they know we're here doing this, and I don't know what they think of it.
Since we have no way at this point in time to prove a haunting, we have to go the other way. We have to cancel out all the other possibilities.
It may not be the hotel. It may be the mountain that it's built on.
Basically, it sounds like this mountain is alive, so to speak, and it's part of a recording mechanism.
And this may contribute to why so many visitors to the Stanley Hotel actually have a paranormal experience.
Do we have anybody walking out there?
No.
Did you hear that?
I heard a knock, yes.
Okay.
I demand you tell me your name. What was that flash?
When we were investigating down here, one of the guys actually got physically ill.
I'm feeling sick.
Yeah, I know.
I'm feeling sick.
Okay, we need to go. I'm getting get out.
I feel as if mosquitoes or something are biting my back.
Light, so yeah, I can see right here. It even looks like almost 5 fingers.
Holy cow.
Whatever it is, it just came through you.
This particular entity is not going to tell us the truth. It's a deceiver.
Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
There's a voice in the back.
They're not gone. They are not gone.
What happened? What happened? What's wrong? What's wrong?
The phenomena that we're experiencing on this trip is real.